Good morning, everyone. This is episode 203 of OotiniCast. I've got to remember not to swear, so I'm in a swearing kind of mood. But c'est la vie. I can do it, I'm sure. Operating on 3.5 hours sleep, so
Okay.
this should be an adventure. All right, guest today. Chill will introduce him properly, but that guy there is Mosk. You've heard us talk about him. You may have seen him in the background. Actually, did you actually come on to the Cantina recording when you were with us, Mosk? Did you come around and...
No, I don't remember. I had something to drink at that point.
Well, yeah, there was
Maybe
that.
a reason.
There was. I think you can hear me in the background, so I have presence anyways.
Right. Indeed.
Yeah.
And that bearded guy is... I know you find it hard to believe. It is Kuze. Something happened. He's got stuff on his face. Yes.
Let's see.
I've always got a beard. It's dark in here.
Oh.
Does look a little dark, isn't it? Tio, did the OotiniCast Twitch stream key change?
It did not.
It's not liking it anymore for me.
All right, let's just quickly sort that out.
It worked last week, and I haven't changed it since then.
I haven't even logged into the account, so I don't know. But I will quickly give you whatever the key it is now. Twitch didn't get hacked again, did it?
I don't know.
I'm using my laptop camera, and I have every light on here in the hotel room, but of course it's not that bright on the camera.
I'll try restarting Twitch. Maybe it's just a weird thing.
All right.
Now and then you guys are breaking up a little bit, so I may have to ask you to repeat something if you ask a question I didn't hear.
All right. Did you turn down your, the little mobile bar thing up in the top? The adjust bandwidth usage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe put that about halfway.
Low? Yeah.
I got 2 bars, so...
Okay, that's what I'm working on now.
It's raining. All right. It's raining here, so of course our internet goes to crap because Australia.
A shock that it'd be raining there.
Yeah. They actually built all this infrastructure for like desalination plants and all this stuff, and then the drought broke. I don't think it's actually been used. But anyway, so I'm sure there'll be droughts in the future. Sorry, Chill, I'm still getting there. Twitch.
That's fine. Are you going to send it by mail, or where are you going to put it?
Oh, I'll just tweet it in the open, I think. That was a joke?
Yeah.
That's my TO account. That doesn't have... One second. Let me log in as OotiniCast. Sorry guys, we will get there. This is just a little bit of technical jiggery-pokery. In now. Alright, Chill, do you remember, very quickly, where it is? Somewhere on the dashboard, right?
Oh, yeah. It will be on the dashboard.
Stream key. That's a bit of a giveaway. Show key. I have not reset it. I will email it to you right now. Actually, I'll DM it to you. I don't know which one's quicker, but that'll do.
Okay.
And then L star. U. Alright. Okay, Jill, just DM'd it to your Twitter account.
Alright. Oh, to Twitter, okay.
Alright, so let's let Chill sort that out. We've got no tips of the week. So, yeah. Even so, if we just got one, you would automatically won a cartel pack.
I'll mention
if
that.
anyone can send one in the
there,
next
I'll mention
3
it.
minutes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right. Now we'll have to... Yeah, actually all 4 of us, in fact, are in our raid group. So I'm not sure if we want to talk about raiding this week.
Well, why not? It wasn't that bad. Wasn't.
Were we in the same raid?
Well, I mean, it was better than the one before. We took some bosses down. I mean, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think so.
I thought we just did story mode last week.
Yeah, didn't we try something and then we didn't actually even get that down? It was fucking terrible.
Malafar? Yeah, we did Malafar a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That was just embarrassing. So, yeah.
So again, we raided, and that was great. And
We
move on.
raided. Mm-hmm. There's only
Hey,
one day though.
It doesn't like the
I had
keys.
fun last
Yeah, it's not
raid, even
working.
if we didn't get Malafar down.
Chill, say that again.
Does not like the new key either. I'm not sure what's going on.
That was the old key, but I'm going to regenerate it.
Okay.
Just in case it broke somehow. I'll send you that one too, and then we give up. And give up on
Okay.
the stream. Or you can stream it under your own account or something.
I'll try that next. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I sent you a reset key.
All right.
Alright. Nearly there. Nearly there. I should edit this out of the actual video. You can do it, it's just slow as hell. No, I won't. This is the live version. Are we all enjoying Zyos?
I haven't even logged in, to be honest.
Did not have
I
a chance to
downloaded
do it, but I did get on yesterday, but I didn't do that yet.
I did just a few minutes of it. I'm actually pretty happy with what I saw so far.
Yeah, it really is an awesome story.
I did a breeze through Twitter today real fast and in between meetings and saw there was a lot of issues with the patch update.
Oh, what kind of
something's
issues?
broken.
I don't know,
Doesn't
everybody's saying everything's broken, and,
Okay,
you know, the sky's falling, of course, on Twitter.
Oh, we got some stuff to talk about.
I turned my camera off because I'm thinking it might help.
Yeah.
You guys haven't started breaking up since then, so...
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Kuze
This
is
one
in a
doesn't-
hotel, so he's on hotel internet. Chill?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, it doesn't like my own either, so I don't know what's
All right.
going on. Maybe it's a Twitch issue.
Yeah, Twitch is... Well, what a shock. Fucked.
All right.
Alright. So we're going to be talking about the exploit that has been found, and Snape loves it when I express my actual opinion, so I'm going to. Alright. Then we are going to do this without Twitch, and we are going to get on with it. Anything else to talk about before we roll? Chill, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
And you're recording?
I am. I have been. Yeah, I've got 10
whole
minutes
time?
going on Audacity.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Mosk, you still going? And Kusa, you're still going?
Yes.
Alright.
No pausing.
Okay.
Can we
When...
just do a pause?
Yeah, he said to pause. I think that's what he said. We're supposed to stop it right now,
Comedians.
and then restart in 30 seconds. Maybe
No,
27 and a half.
Start halfway through your intro, so that'd be great.
Would it? Would that help?
And that's my week.
Alright, let's roll. And I'll remember to
Alright.
start the recording, not stop the broadcast.
So going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that has respect for the difference between knowledge and wisdom. This is episode 203, being recorded on Wednesday, April 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey guys, I'm still pondering that one.
Yes, that one's from episode 2, a rare prequel pull there. And our guests today are Mosk and Kuze. Kuze you'll probably remember from the jumping videos and the Datacron videos and a few other things. Mosk, this is a first-time guest apparently. I'm kind of surprised because he's been with us a long time. He's been our raid member forever. In fact, before OotiniCast was OotiniCast. So very exciting to have you on, Mosk. And of course, we met in person a couple times in Vegas. And go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been. I don't think I was in beta, but I've been playing SWTOR since the start, and I was with the group back in WoW. So been around everyone, had a good time there, but came over with everyone, and I've enjoyed the game. I started with a gunslinger. When I found out there was a gunslinger at all, thought, well, I got to go with that. Named him Roland. If you're a fan of the Dark Tower series, so had to go with that DPS class, and thought that was okay for a while. Normally I play the multi-spec classes, so it's kind of different for that, but went with something a little different with just DPS, and played that for 2 years, 2.5 years,
Yep.
however long the game was out. And then with the latest expansion, we switched up our roles, and now I'm a healer with the Sage, which is I've actually been really enjoying. I think it's great. It's back to what I used to do before went all DPS, and been enjoying that.
Right.
I did a lot of PvP with Chong. Did a lot of drinking with Chong. That's good times, and
Yep.
Memories.
I don't remember any of it, but
Neither
it
does
was a good
Chong.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, just enjoy the game as far as I don't do a whole lot of the. Maybe I like grind. I like that a little bit, but I don't do that a whole lot with SWOTOR for some reason. But I'm always in the raid group, so I appreciate that, and that keeps me going on a weekly basis. Try to do the new content, but I'm not a big story guy. I skip through a lot of the videos, but still enjoy the game. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. And how about like this week? What'd you do this week?
So this week I enjoyed downloading the PTS. That was exciting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, tried that out. I tried a little bit of Ziost, just a little bit. I was in the raid group. We raided, as Teal will mention, and other than that, I tried out a few of the changes. Checked out the changes with the Sage on the PTS, which I think we'll talk about
Yes.
probably later.
I was hoping you had. Good.
Yeah, just a little bit. They haven't done it. Well, we'll get to it, but they haven't updated everything on it yet.
Right.
So we're still in the process of seeing the changes. So that's pretty much what I did. Just a little bit of a dabble of this and that, but nothing crazy.
All right. Awesome. And Kuze. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you.
Right now I'm on a business trip, so I'm stuck in a hotel room with crappy internet and running videos causing problems, so I haven't turned off.
It's okay.
Pretty much what I've been doing is, the last time I was on a show I was talking about I was going to do PvP, and that's all I've been doing other than raid nights. It's just PvP, PvP, PvP. I finally have my commando all geared out with the lowest tier of gear, so I'm working on the Warzone, the ranked gear
The
now.
rank gear. Yeah,
Yeah.
that takes a long time.
It really does. They'll probably change it next season, so it'll all be worthless once I finally get it. So, nothing but PvP. I mean, I've been queuing up for PvP just nonstop, trying to tweak my gear as best as possible. I had somebody when I was starting, I had somebody in the match say, "Hey, where's your PvP gear at?" I was like, "Hey, I got to start from somewhere, trying to get the comms to buy it." And he's like, "No, you need to put in the 168 there." And he was a scoundrel healer. I won't throw names out. So at the end of the match, I wound up having higher DPS and higher heals and higher objective points. So I guess I didn't quite need all the PvP gear at that time.
Okay.
Really
no.
happy
You're
about it.
sounding. Your mic seems to be getting a little low there, Kuze.
Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah, sorry. It's.
There you go.
I also don't have my normal mic. It's my gaming headset.
Oh, okay.
So PvP nonstop. That's pretty much been my week, other than rating.
Awesome. Have you done anything with the new patch, or have you been able to play on the new patch?
I downloaded the patch last night, right before I went to bed, and I had planned on getting into it before I had a chance to get on today, but haven't looked at it.
That's fine.
No.
Yep. One day is not exactly a lot. So,
Yeah.
all right. Tio, how about your week?
Well, let's see. We only raided one day last week, and that was on our usual day 2, Friday night. And I don't think I'll say anything more about it. Let's just say it was not our best outing ever. Not at all.
Right.
However, the full team is back this week, and so in theory, we should progress further.
Yes.
Also, because of the various nerfs that have been done, we may actually get stuck on the third boss rather than the second if we can get past them and the 2 hard nodes. Talk about that later as well. Other than that, I did update the PTS. I played with the Sage stuff as well, but since I have got a healing Sage, but I don't really play them that much. And I've also been leveling my sniper. I haven't actually had a lot of time because I was on a business trip as well. I only flew in late last night. So, yeah, haven't really had a lot of time to play. This whole work thing is suboptimal. Yeah, I know. Suck
Darn
it
that
up.
work.
Indeed. Yeah. All right, anyway, that's my week. Over to you, Chill.
All right. First, a shout out to the chat room, and just a quick note that Twitch seems to be bugging out on us, so I'm only referring to the OotiniCast.com/live chat room today. Aaliyah is here, Dazden, Fayanha, Hellion, Overpowered Main, Rub is here, Zamzam, the PvPer is here, Belazar, Cliffhanger, Darth Lighter, Force Chuckle, Kahana, Mosk is in fact here, Palais, and Seshari. So hello everyone. Let's see what I do this week. Well, first of all, I went through all 22 of my Harbinger characters and opened their Cantina boxes, so that took a little while. No luck on the Mandalore statue. So therefore, I deleted my lowest level character, a level 12 Sentinel, Chill Saber, goodbye. And I have, so he was sort of like a samurai was sort of the idea with like because you can, there's like a samurai hair. I don't know if you've noticed it when you were doing the character make, but they have that, that top knot thing going on. So yeah, so no more Samurai Sentinel. It was a fun idea, but yeah, I only got him to level 12, so I must not have liked it that much, I guess. And I do have a level 60 Sentinel, so I'm all good. I'm all set. And I've started to make some temp tunes until I get a Mandalore statue, which I don't know how long that's going to take, but apparently you were really lucky last week with with the statue. So yeah, that's taking a while. When I'm done, I'll have a slot open because obviously I'm not going to keep that temp character. And so I'm thinking what I might do is make a character from scratch and level all the way 1 to 60. Haven't done that in a long time. Except for like the 12 by experience. I think I did that a little bit, but that's quite a different experience from regular leveling. And the idea is that if I can come up with an interesting enough character that I want to do, then I would also stream the whole thing, sort of get it all, capture it all on record. That'd be kind of fun, I think.
Oh, that's a lot of time. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of streaming.
Plus, it'll force me to stream more because I think a lot of times I feel like, okay, am I going to stream or am I not? And then if any part of me feels like, oh, well, it's a little late and it wouldn't be that long a stream and blah, blah, yeah, there's always an excuse, you know what I mean? But if I say, well, every time I play this character I have to stream it, that'll give me an incentive to stream more, so.
Cool.
Yeah. So I did not do Zyos, but I did download the patch. I did play a bit with the costume designer, and I think it's great. I can't wait to see all the stuff that comes out of this, from other people and everything. I've already seen that people are tweeting different outfits and stuff. Yeah, and it's really bizarre, like opening your characters and then seeing armor, but then looking over and not seeing it on your character on the screen. Yeah. It's very bizarre. It's very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And yeah, so that was been my week. That will bring us to the tip of the week. However, for this is like, I think this is only the second time this has happened. We have no tips this week. So if anyone had sent in a tip, they would have automatically won. But with no tips, we will keep moving. Please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday for a chance to win a Tonfon or M8R3 droid pet code courtesy of BioWare and an OotiniCast provided Cartel Market Pack from the latest shipment. So that'll bring us right over to the holofeed. Tio?
Well, the obvious is the deployment of Game Update 3.2 Rise of the Emperor, which was deployed onto live servers during regular maintenance. A bit longer than usual, 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently all that went fairly smoothly, and there have been no game-breaking bugs that I've come across so far. I've been keeping my eye on Reddit just to see if anything had come out of it, but looks all pretty smooth.
Cool.
So far. So we did get the usual updates entry page with, just a quick summary of what's there. A great darkness has fallen over the galaxy, etc., etc. Using his immense power in the dark side of the Force, TM, he has dominated the minds of the planet's Imperial troops. That's on Ziost, as well as an elite cadre of militaristic Jedi, and that's the 6th line. So anyway, it's all there. You do have to be level 60, as we've referred to previously. And yeah, so you must have purchased Shadow of Revan to have got to level 60, obviously.
Right.
To actually get started on Ziost.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the TM after the Force too. That's pretty awesome because the Force is all pervasive throughout the galaxy, but lawyers are all powerful.
Indeed. So anyway, we also got a trailer, which was somewhat uninspiring, but whatever. They can't be all winners. I mean, it's not too bad, but...
You have to have losers to have winners, is that?
It's all relative. No.
So are you saying this trailer's a loser? Oh, that's rough.
Well, we also have some backstory written by BioWare writer and former community team member Courtney Woods, called
cool.
The Sixth Line. It comes in 2 parts. Both have actually been published, and it's actually another really good story from Courtney. Quite confronting and a little disturbing. So well done. And yeah.
They're both the 6th line, though? I mean, if it's 2 parts.
Should there be the 7th line? No. No. It's just the 6th line, and just kind of an intro to who they are. And they're Jedi, but they're militaristic.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely worth reading.
Troopers.
I'm definitely reading that.
Next, let's move on to the 3.2 patch notes. Firstly, Ziost, of course, and all of its story, which you'll find is... I haven't actually done it on both factions, but I believe it's fairly similar. I've only done... What did I do? I've only done the Republic side so far, so I've yet to do the Empire side just to see what the differences are. Now, it is worth noting that as of now, you will not be able to actually finish the story, and that is entirely deliberate. It's the same as what's on the PTS. You get up to a certain point, and you're basically supposed to go back to this mission terminal on Ziost in the satellite, in the space station, to find out what happens next. And still, you can't do anything. However, Eric Musco did post today that he's revealed that on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you, that is when the conclusion to Game Update 3.2 will become available. And so, what we will get, and this is spoiler-free, we'll get the ending cinematics for the Rise of the Emperor storyline, a new area on Ziost, some new daily quests, because at the moment there are no dailies, at least I wasn't able to find any. We will get a new lair boss, being in an instanced area, so you have to go through the green wall to actually get in there.
Boss, yeah, or like the Racco boss, or like Taboro's Courtyard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more about the lair boss later, and also a new world boss.
Very
so all of that will be on Monday, May the 4th, which is only a few days away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I might actually just wait until then before actually doing anything, so I can just play it all the way through. Note, it will not require a patch. It will simply switch on. So, yeah. All right. Also, in 3.2, they just mentioned that, as we already knew, Ranked Arena Season 4 has completed with 3.2, and Season 5 has already begun. So, all the rankings have been archived away. You can already start doing ranked PvP and accumulating your rating for Season 5.
Okay.
And no.
Yeah, maybe I'll
you
queue
step up in
for maybe I'll queue for single PvP and wait for a few hours, and then maybe I'll get a pop to try to start getting my rating up.
Maybe.
Because
Like
I
Chomp
did
at
try to get
1 for
the
the
end
year.
in. I did try to get the 10 in before season 4 ended, and I queued up. I was queuing for unranked, and then I queued up for ranked. Let it sit for, I don't know, probably close to an hour. Nothing popped, and I was like, all right, I'll just continue on trying to get some ranked comms and save them up for uh, 5th season coming up.
Fair enough.
Do we know, is there just a time of the day where the ranked seems to be going on?
On the harbinger.
Well, I will say it was midday. I got home early, so it was probably around, let's see, 2, 3 o'clock, something like that. Nobody was on. I was going to wait until that evening and never got back around to it. So it could have been a timing issue on my part.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you would have gotten pops in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They also, and as I said before, they will tell us in the patch notes when the next world events are coming. So the Gree are coming back again. As you remember from the last time they were here, they have been scaled up to level 60, and they will be back on May the 12th, and they will be staying for a week until May 19th. So I suspect we're going to be seeing the Gree on a fairly regular basis, if for no other reason than to give us the components so we can actually buy offhands. But anyway, so yep, they're going to be back, and Bounty Contract Week this time will be on May the 19th. So as soon as the Gree leave, Bounty Contract Week begins for the usual week.
Right.
Now, as Chill mentioned already, the big new feature for 3.2 is the Outfit Designer.
It's very slick.
Yep. We've already talked about it before. The implementation that went live is pretty much exactly as it was on the PTS, so nothing really new to add there. There is a tutorial for it, so the first time you open your character page, you will actually get the little thing up in the left that will say, do you want to do the tutorial? Little tick or cross. It's just a single page. It just gives you some basic instructions. Now, one thing to note, that Unify Color does not actually work with an outfit until you have committed it. So
That
there is
seems
no actual
weird.
way.
Yeah.
It seems like you should be able to. I was clicking on that. I wanted to see that. For my gear, it doesn't make a huge difference, but I still wanted to see that.
Right.
It'll be nice when, I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get around that soon. I hope at least, because the first couple outfits, you're probably fine with because you've had them before and you've put them on your character, but if you're working with gear that you haven't ever bound to you before, and you want to see what it looks like and all that good stuff, the bind color is important.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
the viewing window still works, does it not? So basically, when you
Yes.
want to do the temp view, you just click on that chest piece, click on the color, and then after that, you can add pieces. I mean, that's what I've done in the
Right.
past.
And you
That is
can
a
unify
workaround.
it or you can non-unify it, but you can't mix it up. So
Right.
if you have
That's true.
if you have combinations, like my raiding character's main has like 2 pieces that are in their natural color actually, and I like it better that way.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it seems to the actual structure of it. It doesn't seem to recognize the colors the same way. It seems to take the information in a little differently than your normal character preview of it. Just looking at how it's when you hover over your gear and it's showing you the die that's in it.
Right.
It looks different. So it's as if they have a different way of pulling that information. So that's probably why that Unify doesn't work, is because it's doing something very different with how it's looking at your gear.
Maybe.
So it's
Well,
not able to
Yeah.
pull it the same way to unify it. But
You certainly can unify it, but you do have to commit your changes, which can be kind of expensive. Now, it is worth noting that if you start a low-level character, you can stamp the images of the various items at a very low cost, and the cost seems to go up based on your level. I initially thought it was like based on the item level, like the higher level the gear, but no, it is your actual level. So levels 1 to 10, for example, it will cost you 50 credits to stamp anything that you can wear into the various slots in each tab.
I see.
The cost of the tabs, however, is the same regardless of
It's the
level.
same. Okay. That's
that
exactly
seems
what I was
very
gonna ask.
low. Do you think that's the low cost for the actual tabs themselves? Because you spend less than, I was up to 8 tabs. I don't know what the total was, but the 8th tab I think was only 150,000 credits, which, that's a fair amount, but it just didn't seem that expensive for
Yeah.
each tab going up.
But You're doing it per character, but I actually agree with you. So 20,000 for the first one, etc. If you want to do it with cartel coins, you can do it like account wide. So you could spend 300 cartel coins and get an extra slot for every character. But that's only 20,000 per character. So
are they selling unlocks for that, like individual unlocks, so people can sell them on the GTN, or is it only through the application?
I believe they are, because there was a reference to it being on the cartel market. Okay. So in theory, those should be available for credits at some point.
Right. That's what I've done with all my bank tabs and everything, was just bought them off the GTN and open it up for everybody.
And and I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in them, but at only 300 cartel coins each, that doesn't usually equal that much in credits. That's semi-reasonable.
Yep.
At least for one slot. For one slot.
Yes, but one slot across every character. So
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
And everyone you create from there on out.
The only downside with the outfit designer, and this was the same in the Lotro, is when you first bring up your character sheet, just by pressing C or whatever, you will see whatever you're actually wearing. And once you've stamped your outfit into an outfit, and that's what everyone else sees, what you're seeing in that character pane is going to get pretty fugly pretty quickly. So
yes, it is.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but yeah.
You'll be reminded every time, well, this is what you really look like. Oh.
Exactly.
Your true self. Make sure you keep the reality check.
Right, like a horror monster.
Make sure you don't hide your head slot just to see some of those awful helmets.
Oh man, there's some crazy ass helmets in this game, man.
Alright, let's quickly run through a few of the other things that have turned up. A lot of these we've covered previously, so we'll just go over very quickly. Made improvements to client performance across numerous game systems. Without going into any specifics, I have no idea what they've actually changed so far.
It's all just better now.
It's all just better.
That's everything.
It's all just better.
Though, from comments that someone asked in a Reddit stream, Reddit thread, no one said anything was any different. So, who knows? Yeah, it hasn't got worse. We can say that fairly definitively, I think.
Okay.
Now,
you think
remember
there's a placebo effect there? So if you say that you've made changes to performance, people are like, yeah, I kind of think I see some performance. You know, if you trick half the population, then you're doing good, even if you haven't done anything.
Well, that's all you need to do to get elected.
Yeah.
Every update just has the game is running smoother now. That's what we've done.
It just is. Yeah. It is. Let's see. A number of mounts are being converted to be adaptive. Talked about that. Big list. There's a post with just the list, including your broken down speeder gel.
Yay.
Yes, and mine. Yay.
Yep. The group finder operations now require 8 players instead of 16, so you will no longer need to have 16 or 15 other people queuing up. You can just do it with 8, including your own handmade raid group if you so desire. And also, the operation, remember, you can only use a group finder with whatever operation is up, will now change every day rather than every 3 days, which is another nice change, I think. So if your operation isn't the one you like, you just wait a while.
Right, and also if that's your thing, if pugging ops is your thing, then you get a new one every day.
Absolutely. So you could probably run through them all per week, since each will have its own lockout. Because it's not random, it is on a some sort of schedule, I believe.
That would make sense.
Yep, rewards have been increased generally. There's a list in the patch notes, which is a little misleading because I only mentioned the things that changed rather than a complete list of every operation and exactly what you will get now.
Right.
Yeah. So mainly an increase in elite comms across the board, so a few ultimates in various places as well.
Yeah, we needed more elite comms.
Yeah, we did. Almost as much as we needed more basic comms.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Let's see, guild flagships can now travel to Xyos, so if a lot of people in your guild are doing that, you could always move your flagship there and give them the boost to anyone who's actually on the surface, if you so desire. Though it's worth noting that once you complete the storyline as it is, before you can get there on May the 4th, you get a quick travel that will take you right back there. So that's just in your mission log. And I assume that will go away once you actually complete the mission series. But for now, at least, as long as you've got that mission ready to be completed on May the 4th, or whenever you choose, you can actually quick travel to Zyos anytime you like. For free. Let's see. Companion gifts and related subcategories have been added as a searchable category to the GTN. Yes, it has. However, there is no way to sort or search by rank of gift. So you can sure do it. You can you can search for military gear, for example, but there is absolutely no way to work out which ones are ranks 1 through 5. You can sort by green, blues, and purples, but not by actual rank. So, oh well.
It's a step in the
it's
right
still bad.
direction.
It is.
It is.
I think once a year they add a new subcategory to the GTN. Honestly, I think they need to take one long look at it and really add some more. Especially when they lumped it in with miscellaneous, and then they started tossing everything else in there with miscellaneous. It became almost impossible to try to find what you can find what you wanted if you were going to search by name. But when it comes to companion gifts, not everybody knows the name. And when you're trying to sell items, and to easily get that to people who don't know what the names are or are not going to take the time to go look at it, it was really hard. Everything just got, the waters just got muddied, and nobody even cared anymore, and things weren't selling. So hopefully this will open the market up a little bit for people.
Mike. Kuzo, your mic.
Sorry. Is it low again?
It went low as you were talking.
Yeah, it kind of fades.
I think it's cutting in and out. I don't know what the deal is.
It gets tired.
Well, hopefully my my Audacity will keep up.
Hopefully,
The traction
yeah.
will get on that. So,
All right.
At any rate,
No worries.
yes.
Because you're pausing it, right?
Yes, because I'm pausing it every few minutes.
No, it's not. Just randomly, yeah.
Okay, so once a year they're adding new sub-tiers. I think that they need to take a longer look and really update this a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, it's someone just working on the weekends on it, isn't it? Like one guy.
Yeah.
Doug. He's just working on it every few
Don't be
weeks.
cynical. No, the guy in the basement, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
he's
is that
supposed to
what it
work
is?
on bugs. He doesn't
Oh.
have anything to do with
That's
it.
right. He's
Quality of life.
debugging the room. Yeah.
All right, so moving on. The Rishi docks are no longer invisible upon landing on Rishi.
Yay!
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Figured it out.
this issue has been extant for quite a while now, and it didn't get any less disturbing. I guess we all learned to actually navigate via the map, the mini-map, and ignore the actual fact that there was nothing underneath us. But it's back, so all is well once more.
Now, the guy in the basement did take care of this one.
Well, they're going to implement a raid
Excellent.
mechanic where everything disappears. So if you've been spending a lot of time zoning into Rishi, you've now got the skills you need to be able to take down that boss. So
Excellent. So that's what it was.
hopefully you were doing a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Let's PvP. They fixed the issue with Bolster that was preventing characters from being granted the correct amount of stats per level. This affected lower level PvP. Particularly, I think the lower you were, the more you were screwed, or something like that. Anyway, it's all now good again. So if you've been having particular trouble at a particular level in pre-60 PvP, that could be why. Could be.
Okay.
All right, we got a bunch of class changes, which we've sort of covered in passing. I'll leave it to the War Room to talk about the effects in PvP. Overall, there's a bit of simplification where there was like a stacked thing, like for Smash Spec, Singularity for Focus Guardians is now a single effect rather than a stacked effect, and so rather than having to build up the stacks, you get it straight away just by doing the trigger once, that kind of thing. A few other little changes. Anything you guys want to call out?
Nothing I see. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
only concerned about one class. So.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nice little ones, but nothing that really jumps out at me as a huge one.
Generally quality of life and slight nerfs and simplifications, yeah. Maybe some slight buffs as well. Anyway, alright, moving on. we've got some nerfs to the new operations, Templar Sacrifice and the Ravagers. The adds the lurkerlings in the Underlurker encounter, which is the third in Templar Sacrifice, and the one that is, we've commented previously, was ludicrously overtuned. It has now been nerfed, so the lurkerlings have a lot less health, and I'm guessing that means that everyone will be able to just steamroll through it.
Yeah,
So
that
just like
should
you
do
can.
it.
But yeah,
I think
By
that's
itself, that should be
a
enough.
good way to deal with it. Just reduce their health rather than reducing a specific damage amount being output. Just reduce their health, then you still have to have the DPS to take them down. You keep all the same mechanics, the same spirit of the fight. But now it's
Right.
not quite so overwhelming. A little more forgiving for the groups to be able to get in. So I think that's a good way to deal with that. So.
Agreed. And Tiadra in our guild, last week's Tip of the Week winners, mentioned that it does make him so much easier now. So, yeah. Oh well. But again, for story mode, that's the way it should have been. It should never have been as hard as it was. They have made no
Should
effect.
not have been a hard mode fight in story mode.
Exactly. And they have not changed hard mode. So this is only story mode. They made a few tweaks to the Revan fight in hard mode. Sword Squadron. This is the second encounter in Temple of Sacrifice. This has been changed in all modes. They reduce damage done, so it's going to be easier. And there was a lot of damage. Actually, these guys are our two healers, Mosk and Kuze, so I'm sure you can attest to that. The squadron now utilizes low smoke-emitting ammunition, reducing smoke explosions and increasing visibility. Now, this was particularly painful when someone set off the bomb, usually Rob in our group, went up, the bomb exploded, the smoke made everything completely, you couldn't see a damn thing. So as a tank, you quickly learned to just keep moving when that happened, because almost certainly there's going to be some effect under your feet. So, but now you should be able to see the actual effects as they happen.
And this would affect the grenade as well, likely, the big white circle on the DPS and healers, because that was another issue where you moved because you knew you had a red circle under you almost every time.
You couldn't see the red circle? Or you were stunned?
You were stunned. You were stunned for half a second, but you also couldn't see where you were. So you just moved, disoriented, and you just moved anywhere because you knew you were going to die. So
we can safely assume they probably have not changed that one. But
it's still, isn't that ammunition? I mean, a grenade.
Could be.
We'll see.
Could be.
We'll see.
All right. Rain of missiles in the 16-player story has been reduced to damage. And there's now a 30-second grace period after killing one walker before the other walker enters its enrage in story mode. Only story mode. Because that was a thing. If you didn't kill the walkers together, very, very bad things happened very quickly. You only had a very small window to kill the other one. So in hard mode, it is 5 seconds.
Is that still maybe longer than it was?
I get the impression that
almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Before.
It was pretty much an instant enrage. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So they did make it easier.
Yes. So definite nerf to Sword Squadron overall. In the Ravagers encounter, Koratani, who's the final encounter in the Ravagers, now, well, in the first phase anyway, now uses stealth instead of running in order to more reliably reach the escape pod. Why did they change this, you may ask? Because this was a long-standing bug where if people kept firing at her when she decided it was time to run away, the encounter bug, then she would go immune and just kill everyone. So that is a fix for a bug.
Nice.
At last.
Why wouldn't they just turn her to basically an NPC or immune, so as soon as she does that action, that way the story effect is still there where she's running towards the pod. So, I mean, she can turn green, instead of an active target, and you wouldn't be able to do anything to her anyways. I don't know, maybe that was more of a technical issue than just making her disappear and then throwing a spin on it.
Don't know. You're right. Why not switch her immune? They do it in other places.
They didn't realize the bug was there because in all the testing they never thought anybody would just keep shooting her. It never occurred to him, oh, why would anybody keep shooting this boss? But it was an issue. Yeah.
Well, they've known about it for ages because it has been reported. I guess they just couldn't find any way of fixing it prior, or the fixes they did make didn't work. Hopefully, this would be the last issue with the Ravagers, which means that speed run they were going to do, they could actually do now, because now you can actually get through the whole thing reliably. And Temple of Sacrifice as well, because now the Underlurker isn't going to be a massive block. Also in the Ravagers, they have reduced damage done by Quartermaster Bulo, second encounter in the Ravagers, in all difficulty modes. So another nerf to a difficult fight. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, this means we may actually progress and get blocked on the third encounters in both of these operations in hard mode. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about how much they've reduced the damage? Any response on that one yet?
From the guys in chat, his Scatter Blaster is now a tickle gun. Yeah, the impression is it's a lot easier. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I suspect this week we'll just breeze through it and just run headfirst into Torque.
That's hope.
Because I haven't changed that one or the other three.
If not, we'll just lie to everybody until we did.
Right. Hey, we've already made it. It's great. It's awesome.
Oh,
we
crap,
love
we're
this new
recording.
boss.
Alright, Blood Hunt, Assault on Tython, a few more tweaks to the hard mode versions of those flashpoints. Hard mode versions of the flashpoints. Items and economy. The Furious Walker can now be placed as a deco. There's a bunch of new decos on the Fleet Starfighter and PvP vendor. And a new one that wasn't in the patch notes, on the security key vendor on the fleets, you can now get yourself a floor safe or a wall safe. The floor safe is kind of particularly weird because it's just like a plate on the ground, but it is access to your cargo hold. It takes up a small slot.
That's cool.
And there is one for the wall as well, which uses a green slot as well, one of the wall ones. So these are only 15,000 credits. You do have to have a security key attached to your account, obviously, to buy anything from the vendor. But yeah, these are by far the cheapest cargo hold accesses you can get. Don't need the prefab thingies to actually pick them up.
Yeah, and you can even get more than one if you want to have one for every one of your strongholds. That's cool.
Absolutely. Yep. Now, this is something I just happened to notice today. It's probably been there all along, but I never noticed it. When you go into edit mode in your stronghold, all of the hooks, as in like the blue squares and the green squares, have this swirling mist effect. It's really quite amazing, but I never noticed it before, so I clearly wasn't paying attention. Or they've added it, but there's no mention of it.
I spent a lot of time in mine.
So it's been there all along?
Like I said, I haven't noticed, and I've spent a lot of time in my strongholds decorating.
So it's like they've stuck this smoke animation under all of the actual hooks. So I don't know why, or it was there all along. So someone will be able to point that out to me. Now, a few other things under missions and NPCs. The Circa Weekly no longer requires the flashpoints. They just added a new Heroic 2+. The Operation Weeklies for Terror from Beyond, Scum and Villainy, Dread Fortress, Dread Palace, just the old ops, pre-Shadow of Revan, now require the final encounters to actually complete the weekly. Prior to that, like with the Dreads, it was the fourth boss out of the 5. For Terror from Beyond, it was Operator 9. And for Scum and Villainy...
Wasn't it the creature
it was the arena boss, the one in the arena. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, after the droid boss.
Oh yeah, the big beastie and the guy. Yep.
Yeah.
So all of those have been changed, so you can't farm your comms quite as easily as before. You actually do have to complete the operations.
Okay.
Now the items required on Rishi to get the Datacrons apparently now will spawn more consistently and more frequently. So if you've been having trouble finding them, at least that's what I assume these are, because I've never actually done it myself. I've just stumbled across the Datacrons occasionally when leveling or being on Rishi anyway and just picked them up.
Yeah.
The Unique Rock Formation, the Cybernetic Skull, and the Anchored Rock.
That's cool.
I could be wrong, but anyway. Let's see. The Revanite Commanders. This is on Yavin 4. If you do the solo version of the enemy within, there are the 4 guys that you have to kill. These are the various Revenant commanders, and they're just scattered in the...
They show up on your mini-map.
Yeah, to kill. And if you've done this, as I have many times, you'll know their spawn time is actually really long. This was really painful early on when everyone was trying to do it. It was not so bad now, but yeah. They have actually changed the spawn time, so it will be a lot shorter.
Right.
So that's great. Yep. And they have actually changed any mission reward mails. They mentioned this previously. That had still given you those defunct planet comms will now give you basic comms in case you don't have enough.
Good.
Now, a few other changes that have not been mentioned. I thought the guild list of guild members, you know how when you bring up the guild tab and it's supposed to show you who's online by default and you should be able to show who's offline. For a second, at least in one character, it was fixed. So I brought it up, it showed who was online rather than having to click the show offline and then click it off again to actually see who was online. But no, I logged onto other characters and it was still broken. So
okay.
It was a preview of how it could be.
Yeah, just for a second, I was really excited because
this is what you're missing.
Right. Here
Let's
you go.
pass
Now we're
those.
going to take it away.
We'll have to get the guy in the basement to get this one next.
Yeah,
So,
he was working on the Rishi thing for so long. He didn't have time
Yeah,
to
it would have taken a while.
Yeah.
However, something that is nice is in the crafting windows for all your crew skills, the various categories of stuff has now, it opens collapsed. So that's great if you actually want to get to a particular item. So that is a nice change. However, the other collapsible lists haven't been changed. So like collections or legacy, the achievements, they're still fully open. But crafting. So I guess the guy in the basement ran out of time. But
my camera's not on, but I'm shaking my fist right now with the angry face. Why would you do this to one area and not do it to another?
Well, it's great that was this so important that this is what someone spent time on. I mean, it's fine.
There were people asking for it for a while.
Oh, it's a good change. It's just
it's a quality of life change, but something that.
Okay. Let's see. Legacy title list. So when you bring up, as you know, you've got your character title and you've got your legacy title. The legacy title was just a massive list, but it's now a scrollable list. So life is good. What would happen if it was bigger than your screen? I don't know if you're playing low res. Anyway, scrollable now, so all good.
Limited on your options. Here you go. Here's what you get.
Anyway, that's the 3.2 patch notes. However, let's move on to May the 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. They have actually revealed that actually we already knew this, the astromech droid you get is M41S, and you'll get him if you are a Actually, you don't have to be a subscriber.
No, you just have to be,
Yep, you just have to have logged in to your Sweater account between April 4th, 2015 and May the 4th. So as long as you've logged in, doesn't matter if you're sub, preferred, or whatever, you will actually get your new astromech to add to all your other pets you never pull out. However, of more interest...
boss fights.
Yeah.
What was the droid... Sorry.
No, go ahead, Kuzi.
I was going to ask what the astromech name was last year. I know it was M4, but was it 1S?
No, that's this year's. It was different, but I don't remember the exact one. It was M4, though.
One is
I don't remember.
15, as someone pointed out. Maybe 1. So next year it could be I6 or something. M4, I6.
Okay.
I don't know. Alright, however, of more interest to everyone is the Epic Story XP Boost, which we've talked about previously. This is the 12 times XP Boost. They're calling it the Epic Story XP Boost. You can get rid of it via that vendor who will appear, presumably, agree vendor on the fleets. And for 0 credits, you will have to switch it off every time you log into that character, presumably. It will let you level from 1 to level 55 at an accelerated rate. So they have pointed out that it applies to class missions of each class in the core game, and in the Rise of the Hutt Cartel, the main storyline will not affect Rishi and Yavin 4, because that's already pretty streamlined, and it would be silly to make it faster, is what they said.
Right.
Now,
yeah. Plus, the whole point is just to get people up to where all their friends, were, if they're on a new account or whatever. To get to Rishi, not necessarily to get all the way to the end.
Yep.
It seems like a reasonable way to deal with it. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I agree.
If I want to start a new character, someone like me, I have a few 60s, but I don't have everybody up to 60. So I might start a new character, and I might actually do this. So I like having that option where they bring you up, but they're trying to balance it out with everybody else. So I think it's good.
Exactly.
It's a nice balance.
I'm one of the people who will switch it off because I don't want it. I'm perfectly happy leveling the old-fashioned way. And however, it is not permanent. Apparently, it will be removed this fall. So autumn US time, which, given the way you guys calculate autumn, is between 23 December, 23 September, and 21 December. So somewhere in that window, that's going to go away. So I wonder if the next expansion will be somewhere probably towards the end of that, maybe? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I'm a fan of the 12x XP. I like it for subscribers. I like it for people who have multiple characters. I don't necessarily think that they should give it to everybody. I think that if they want people to get their friends into the game, they should have added it as a buff or an ability for refer a friend, so they can get characters up for a amount of time, or maybe that one character. But I honestly think they should have added it as a legacy bonus. Not only does that incentivize people to have higher legacy, or gives a benefit to the people who've been playing the game for a long time, but it forces the people who haven't played the game and just got into it to experience the whole game. And I think that they're bypassing a lot of stuff, and they're not going to go back. I wouldn't. I mean, if I had that option, I probably wouldn't go back and do planet storms and low-level PvP and everything else. I would just, why would most people aren't going to go back and do it? So
you're fading out again.
I think they're just trying to get people, as many people as they can, into the game and trying to get them in the end game to hold on to them.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it available to the free to play? Because it says
no,
subscribers.
it is
So
subscriber
it's
only.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
So takes care of that. But I think it is WoW does it with the free to play, or with the refer a friend.
It does.
I mean, I think it feels really good when you do that, because you have to be grouped up with this other person, and I don't know, there's something about that. It makes you really want to have two accounts going. So that's great for the game. So you get into the
it would be
4 or 5 accounts. See what you can do with a bunch of sages running around. That'd be exciting.
Multi-boxing is it's not against the terms of service as long as one button click equals one action in the game. And if you want to run it on multiple PCs, no worries.
Yeah. It's totally, you can do that. They don't mind.
You could, if you have steady computers.
Yeah. You could, because you can't run the client twice on the same machine, can you?
Not easily. I'm sure there is a way. I don't know how to, but there's.
I've had it open up twice.
Okay.
So now, if we turn off the XP boost, will it also turn off all the other benefits?
Most definitely not. Let's speak about those benefits, because they have done a ton of stuff to actually make leveling easier, and this will apply regardless of whether you have the buff or not, and these are permanent. And Eric Musco did confirm this. Firstly, all class missions previously rewarded 1 or 2 basic comms will now reward 8 basic comms. And the reason for that is, by the time you get to end level, you will have a lot of basic comms. And, well, basically as you go, you can actually just upgrade your gear.
Right.
As you go.
You should be going fast, yeah.
Exactly. And remember, with the outfit designer, you can make yourself look exactly the way you want to, and then just swap in whatever. No more pulling mods out to get the gear you want. I suspect the only time we're going to pull mods now is just for if you want to stick it into legacy gear. there's effectively no reason anymore, is there? And fine-tuning your stats.
Right. Just
Right.
yeah,
So
exactly.
at the
Min-maxing.
end gear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is very cool. They have also done the planetary mod vendors and equipment vendors, the ones that you used to spend planetary comms. Now they're all basic comms. All of that gear has been, they've had everything changed. I haven't actually gone through those vendors in detail just to see exactly what they've done. But they said they've adjusted to have a better variety of modifications at a lower commendation cost.
So are they basically
Right.
saying you can level up? You have the comms to buy the gear you need, or the
Yes, all the mods.
modifications that you need. So you're really not having to worry about saving up. I guess
Yes.
you can just kind
Yes.
of go spend as you go, rather than feeling a pressure to, well, I have to wait till I'm level 40. So I need to
Right.
save up to level 40 to do that.
So it's a
Yeah.
good change. Definitely a good change. Though
Cool.
let's look at the details before we give it the complete thumbs up. Now, travel changes, taxi destinations available to all players. You don't have to go and discover them anymore. I'm kind of sad about this one, but c'est la vie. Because
Doesn't
I
that
like pain.
affect how you're leveling? I mean, that seems kind of an issue, isn't it? Or is it not? Is that not a big deal?
This
just-
this goes back to the same thing with the 12x XP that I have an issue with. They should make this. They should probably rework free to play, because this to me seems like it would be a good free to play. If you're going to give it to subscribers, whatever, you can give it to all the subscribers and make the free to players pay for it, but then turn around and give them some of the things that they don't have access to now that they probably should have had access to, like the whole respawning and after death, whatever. But the main thing I think this should have been back to Legacy again. I think if your character has opened that up previously,
Right.
they should have unlocked it account wide. And again, they've taken away from the game,
Yeah.
just making it easier, and
Yeah,
I'm
that makes
not
sense.
happy about it either.
Yeah, having it based on your legacy in that case would make sense, because then you have been there. You've explored that at some point. And that
Yeah,
makes
and you're
sense.
taking that away from people. Oh
Yeah.
crap, I turned down this wrong way, and that experience of I'm not going to do that again is kind of it's alleviated. It's gone now. It's
Right, there's no
it's
penalty.
streamlined, getting you to subscribe, getting you to the end of the game, so they can try to hold on to you with story at the end game.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. All right. So, also, all quick travel bind points. We talked about this previously. All you have to do is be within the vicinity of your quick travel bind point, and it will magically unlock for you. So,
Yeah, this was noticeable last night when I did my trooper. Got the last section. I was able to taxi travel to a section I'd never been to, and then when I got there, I kept looking. For a moment, I was like looking for the quick travel point to open it up, and then I realized, oh yeah, it's there and it's already done. And I even verified it by pulling up the quick travel ability, and
cool.
sure enough, it was available.
Yep.
It was
So
nice.
within the region, so I mean that can be kind of a large area, can't it?
I suspect
you
that-
could open up 3 or 4 just from moving into one area, wouldn't it? I can't think of an
Depends on-
example.
Depends
Yeah,
on whether
that's a
it's
good
like
point.
a portion of the map or whether it's like the map page. I don't know which one they're referring to.
Yeah, the wording, which Mosk is referring to, all quick travel bind points within a map region are now automatically discovered when the region is revealed. The previous
So-
they talked about this was just being near it, but looks like you don't have to be that near it after
You
all.
know, normally when you go to a base, especially you notice it when there's the opposite faction has a base and you have to edge closer to it to finally unlock it. That might be considered as the region. It's when that base that points opens up, you'll receive access to that quick travel point, which is to me that is not as bad as the taxi destination thing, because it was a pain to have to, when you clicked on it, that it dismounted you and then you had to mount back up, and so that's not. You still have to explore and go to that point to gain that access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Not anymore with the taxi. You just jump on the taxi.
Right.
just do the full network and you've got them all. Yeah.
But I'd still say, I mean, I would think what they were trying to do with this is it's just kind of annoying where you were at a point and you forgot to grab that point.
Yeah.
So if you had walked
Yeah.
by it, you should have had it. You
Yes.
just forgot. I'm assuming that's what
good
they were
point.
going for there, but
Mhm.
they may have overdone it. If you were within 30 meters of it, you should have it. That's what I'd like to have seen with something like that, where it was
I
just a
don't know.
convenience rather than making it easier to get overall.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we'll see.
I'm a bit sad about this, actually, because there's no longer a need to actually discover anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, well, we'll add this to not getting sprint until level 15,
Yeah.
Back in my
14,
day.
15, and speed is until level 25.
Yep.
We
And
did it.
walking uphill both
It'll be interesting to
ways,
see how
20
this
miles.
changes the leveling process.
Yeah.
So,
All of this is for
another
12
reason
times XP, and
yeah.
Shell, it does appear to be permanent. So
How about you just give me a level 55 character, show me a video of the story, and then we'll just call it done.
300 cardinal coins will do that for you. So.
A long video.
Yeah. Also, quick travel ability has been reduced. Now, it says for subscribers and preferred players, cooldown is now 6 minutes, and with the legacy unlocks, it will reduce to 0. However, this is not apparently true, and I did actually check my free-to-play account. Sorry, my preferred account. Preferred players are the same as free-to-play, so it's the old cooldowns. Well, the cooldowns are now quick travel for free-to-play and preferred is 26 minutes, and for the fleet pass it is 180 minutes. So subs get the reduction, not preferred.
But
And
not
with the
preferred.
unlocks, it's all instant.
So probably something they'll change. I'd assume they want that to be for the preferred.
Yeah.
They want to encourage you to want that. Even
At least
just
spend
to be
$5.
preferred. Right.
Yeah.
They want you to do that.
Yeah. So the patch notes are clear about this. Yeah, exactly. Also, all of your priority transports, they don't share a cooldown. In fact, there is no cooldown. And that includes to your personal starship. So
Nice.
fantastic. And you still have to buy them. But yeah, no cooldown.
Just travel
Right.
everywhere really quick. Just over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah. When you're doing the 12 times experience and you're just doing the class missions, that will make a difference because that was still gating things.
All right. Let's talk controversy. Exploits. So, summary, don't do exploits, kids. What exploit, you may be asking? I mentioned the Lair boss earlier on Zyos, which will be revealed on May the 4th. It turns out that the boss is already active. You could actually get in, if you could get in there somehow, you could actually kill the boss. And it turns out you can get in there somehow. I don't know how. I don't want to know how, because that is clearly unintended. But there is a way.
Figure out how.
Yeah, so this was discovered pretty quick, and we got a post on the forums today from Eric Musco. So just read it, at least some of it. One of the things we try to be clear about with the Ravagers, with the Korotani exploit, is that we are serious about handling exploits. With that exploit, the Ravagers, we were open about our process and the action we were taking. But this issue with Zyos, we're going to do the same. If a player is bypassing the environment to access an area they should not be able to, and then killing a boss to get loot they should also not have access to, we absolutely considered this an exploit. They're investigating, and they're going to tell us what they were going to do about it, and they subsequently, Musco's already reported that, and same day, we very quickly isolated what the exploit entailed and began investigation of players who participated. As of now, we have identified those unique accounts which have gone into the blocked off area of Zyos and killed one of the 2 bosses present. 2 bosses.
2 bosses.
Cool.
Yeah.
We have
Good
boss
job,
fights.
exploiters.
Way to go.
For each of these players, they will receive a minimum of the following action: multiple day suspension, removal of all gear earned through defeating those bosses, removal of all achievements earned through defeating those bosses, reduction in elite and ultimate comms. However, they're going to continue to monitor it, so if you now do it again, if you participate in this exploit from this point forward, because now they've told us what they're doing, before you can actually get there legitimately on May the 4th, they're going to do even worse stuff. So, in other words, they're deadly serious about exploits with the Ravagers because they took so long to action it and do anything about it. Everyone got a kind of slap on the wrist for that, for the most part. But this time they're not messing about. And, yeah,
Indeed.
My opinion
Although
is
something like this.
good. exactly. This is perfect action. Yeah, they're not permabanning any accounts yet, but I guess if you did this egregiously, I saw people mentioning that they were summoning. People were being paid to summon. They were asking people to pay to be summoned using the guild flagship summons into the lair, so they can actually do it. So if you're doing any of that stuff, you probably should be permabanned, to be honest. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, since I'm playing devil's advocate this podcast, I'll go into it. I think for the people, because when I play a game, I have a sense of exploration that I want to do. So if I'm going to a certain area, and I don't know how they did it, but we'll assume they found a crack or they did some platforming and they got into an area and they found the boss. Well, I'm going to kill it. You know, if I have the option, I'm going to say, hey, everybody, look, I found a way to get into the boss. I had to do, some platform to get there. He's there. Why wouldn't I kill him? Now, I think that this is a great response from BioWare, and the upfront, you shouldn't do this is great, but the people that did it before this response came out, they probably should have just taken the gear away from them and maybe not hit them with a suspension, in my opinion. Now, after they put this announcement out and people did it, then yes. That's really my only issue with it. It kind of takes away from. That's one thing I don't like about this game. It's hard to get
Your mic's really going, Kuze.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep talking because I think Audacity is going to pick it up.
Okay.
You're definitely not moving your mic, Kuze?
No, I'm pretty darn still.
All right.
So, like I said, hopefully Audacity's picking it up.
Okay.
I know it's hard for you guys to respond back on it, though. But my point is I think the action should have been a little bit less for the people who did it prior to the announcement going out, and just took away the gear and the items that they received, and not necessarily suspended them.
Yeah, I can see that side as well. You're right.
I can see that, but I think they needed to really take action on this one. So yeah, somebody might be the victim of overreaction to it, but I think it's appropriate, especially with the previous exploit. But I think you get into a beta, you get into anything new, just like Kuze's saying, and you explore to the edge of the map, and then an invisible wall shows up, and you try to get around it. That's what you're going for. I mean, you want to try to find a way to get into that zone that they don't want you to get into right now.
And this is well known from World of Warcraft, for example. People did that, and this game as well. It also depends on the nature of however it is you actually get into that area. If it requires something really funky, rather than just some clever platforming, then
which we don't know. We don't know what
we don't know.
Right.
No.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how they got into it, but I'm just assuming.
And the summoning deal too on that. That's a big deal. You found a way in. You kind of know you shouldn't be there, but then you're starting to promote it. Something about that to me makes it seem like this is an exploit.
Right.
It starts blurring the line, but people are still using Guild Summon for datacrons and things like that, so how is that necessarily any different? You're still giving advantage to those players over other players who can't reach that datacron because you're summoning to it, like the +10 on. It's just +10 on the cab, or at the fleet datacrons still work. And I won't tell you how I know, but it works. So I don't know.
Wasn't that a surprise? Yeah. We thought they'd fix that.
We thought they fixed that. So I don't know. Riding the line to me here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like though they're only punishing if the player not just accessed but also actually killed the boss. So it looks like if you're just platforming, and you end up getting in there, you're probably not going to get punished. But if you use if you use the way in to also get extra gear, then that's when that looks like that's
a good point. It's more than just exploration. You're actually attacking a boss that's because they've already told you the boss isn't actually going to be available until this date.
Isn't supposed to be available till the 4th.
No, that's just it. They didn't tell anyone. They did subsequently, but it wasn't. It was after a while. Zayas had been out for a while.
They were completely innocent. They had no idea that.
Well, as Turk said, how do people know? how do people know about the announcement if they don't follow Dev Tracker, browse the forums, or listen to the podcasts? It needs to be a warning on the splash screen.
You fall into the room and it says, "Don't kill this boss." They should name the boss that. Don't kill me until it goes live.
Again, the detail here is probably important. Just how easy is it to get in there? But yeah, I guess we'll find out later, and we can talk about it then. All right, let's move on because, my God, time is moving on. We're not going to cover everything in here. In fact, we'll just talk about next PTS game update 3.2.1 has already been on PTS. There's another update with some more changes. We talked about the one for sages and sork healers last week, with some craziness with noble sacrifice. So they sort of backed off on that particular craziness, and there's now a new kind of craziness.
New crazy.
Now, what they done first was I've just put a massive cooldown, 3 minutes or something, on noble sacrifice. Presumably was reducible, whatever. What they're doing now is they have noble sacrifice no longer reduces your health. It's now a heal, or if you do it on a friendly, or a damaging ability if you do it on an enemy in PvP.
Okay.
Or presumably a mob in PvE, and it will restore force, though not much. In fact, it's not much at all. It will restore more force if you have the 3 stacks of whatever it is. Blanking. 3 stacks of whatever.
Resplendence?
Something like that. Or
When you
conveyance.
use your heal, though, with your channel heal, right? I mean, that's what's building that stack, right?
Yes, or usually if it crits. However, it's now got a cast time. Noble Sacrifice used to be an instant. In fact, it was off the global cooldown. It is now a 1.5 second cast, and you cannot do it while moving. So the way they get your force back is you spam this. It's a little heal, very weak heal, but it will restore force as well. So it's like the Commando / Merc and Operative / a Scoundrel heal. The rapid scan or whatever that you could just spam.
Okay.
Do we know, but when we say weak heal, I mean, I'm assuming what they have on the PTS right now is not what it's going to be. I mean, it's not
As
even
far as
healing.
numbers, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's actually healing for like 10. I mean,
Well-
10 health. Like, I spammed it on myself, and I was getting up to like 55. It's like, okay.
No, I was getting a lot more than that, like hundreds.
Okay,
No,
I
it's
was
fine.
not. I was in the double digits. I
All
never
right.
went into the triple digits. So I don't know if something was wrong, but that's what I
Okay.
had.
Well, according to Death by Smiley on the forums, he did a detailed analysis and compared live to the PTS using this in the appropriate rotation, whatever that will turn out to be. And he reckoned live is still somewhat better in terms of health per second, or heals per second. 4246 on live, 4095 on the PTS. So this is the amount of heals you can pump out on average per second, basically. So
With his gear. Right?
yeah, it is a slight nerf. This is copying the same character across, so it's as near to equal as you can get. The numbers are not final, as Moss mentioned, but as of right now, it is weaker as it is, without going force dry, of course. So this is a sustainable healing. And however, you're only able to do 4.1 static barriers per minute versus 4.9 on live, again, while maintaining your force. So at the moment, at least, it's weaker using the new rotation. This can be tweaked. These are just numbers at this point, and they could just ease it up. The playstyle, of course, is now completely different, and I'm not sure how I feel about that either. So, Mosk, you played with it. What do you think?
I played with it just a bit, so I didn't have enough time to really see how it would change. I actually didn't think it felt that bad. It will be completely different, but I'm one of those players, where I use my cooldowns. I do, but I forget. When I'm playing and it flashes the cooldown that's up, everything is flashing all the time. So it's like, oh, okay, well, here we go. So that was somewhat helpful to me, but not as helpful as it may have been. With this one now, I felt like, okay, now I know I can use it, and I can use it whenever I need it, rather than just hoping it's going to work for me when I need it, kind of a deal. Where if you're just waiting for it to be, well, because I was using with the where it wasn't taking any health. I mean, when you're in the boss fights and you're already at, everybody's health is low, you
Right.
have to wait until you have the stacks to where you can use it without it reducing your health at all. That's the
Yes.
only time I used it. I never
Yes.
used it to hurt myself.
Which was the
I
skill you needed as a stage healer, and now it's different.
Right. So now it's different. So is it better? I don't know. Maybe for me, I bet it's better. Just guessing from my own playstyle. But
Okay.
I could see for a lot of people, if you're awesome with your cooldowns and you're just on top of every crit and you know exactly what you're doing, then you'll probably be bothered by it because
Right.
it's probably taking this ability out of that real skill level for using it that way.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
We also don't know, though, what the 4-piece bonus is going to be now. They have not changed that, so that could be a buff to healers with that 4-piece, because the 4-piece right now is still on the old way where it doesn't take your health.
Right.
Which
And
is
you-
irrelevant now.
Right. And the utilities, I noticed, didn't seem to have been updated either as a quick pass over them. So, again, we haven't seen it in the final form. All right. Again, we'll see what goes live, because it probably won't be very long. This is probably pretty close to final, but let's hope they do tweak the numbers a little bit.
Right.
Operatives and Scoundrels, quality of life change. The Colto Probe, or slow release medpack, depending on what faction you are, is now a single stack. Previously, it would stack twice. This is the
Right.
hot that you can put on players. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about this one either. So all the numbers are adjusted accordingly. The reason for it is to increase burst healing. So they have actually upped what you can do with your direct heals, but they had to weaken the hot. So obviously the single stack now does more than one stack did previously, but it is less than 2 stacks. Which you can
Right. So overall, Colto Probe is doing less, but it's also taking less globals as well. It's taking less
Yes.
of your time. It was pretty hard for healers to keep pots up on everyone, 2 stacks. I mean that was basically all they could do, if that's what they were doing. And yeah, so the fact that it's at 1 stack definitely means it'll be a lot easier to put out the Colto Probes and have
Yes.
cooldowns left over.
Yeah, agreed. All right, this is something for Kuze to talk about. Bounty hunters and troopers. What do you think of these changes?
Well, I'm sorry I can't necessarily comment on the. Well, most of it's all healing related anyway. So I was just thinking DPS side of it. I think the wording in the patch notes it's a little weird. Advanced Medical Probe is now part of Combat Medic Discipline. Advanced Medical Probe has always been part of Combat Medic Discipline, so that's a little odd. Available at level 10. The healing dealt by Advanced Medical Probe has been increased. So an increase in your major heal, and there's been a decrease in your lesser heal. Your lesser heal you can spam. It has somewhat of a cast time to it, so you have to wait in between so-called spamming. And it's been reduced. Also, your the healing dealt by Medshot has been reduced. So it seems like we're going to take a nerf. Now they have changed some of your discipline a little bit to where you're getting a 5% bonus to your medical probe that they reduced. 5% crit bonus to that.
To increase your heavy burst healing during. Like you guys need better burst healing.
Well, that's where I'm kind of whatever healing nerf. So they nerfed it a little bit, but then turned around and gave it some back and for burst, as you said. I think honestly, all they needed to do to the commandos was reduce the the medical probe, the normal heal by 5 energy cells.
Right.
And it would have been perfect because the commandos already, they can already burst heal. They're somewhat decent at AoE now compared to what they used to be.
but we have a resource problem compared to the sages and smokers. So I think that if they would have just helped us out a little bit with the resources and not mess with any of the healing and change, then I think we would have been perfect. But I don't want to comment too much on this because I have to play with it first and see how it's going.
Sure. And it's possible they have actually done some stuff with the resource management that they just aren't drawing out here clearly. So yeah, give it a shot. On the PTS, all right, Marauders and Sentinels, you may these changes were live. Well, there were some changes live last time that were received in a, well, let's just say the community was unimpressed, particularly with the rotation. They have tweaked that further, and so your mileage may vary. Give it a shot. Again, if you have problems with any of this, please respond on the forums because the devs are being responsive. In theory. Alright, I'm going to skip all the rest of this and cover it next week because we just don't have time. Community news. Thank you very much to our latest Utini patrons, Cameron, Ufalong, Frank, and Charles. Remember, if we get up to $100 per episode, I'm not holding my breath, we'll do our little documentary about the beginnings of OotiniCast. And also, thank you to everyone for your continued support via retweets, via spreading the word about the podcast, upvotes on Reddit for our episodes, combat the bots who seem to downvote everything, reviews on iTunes. We haven't had one of those in a while, but it does help people discover the show. A lot of people just have never heard of us or whatever, and they just stumble across it, and yeah. So anyway, even if you don't want to become a patron, for whatever reason, that's fine. But if there's any other way you could help, just let people know. We really haven't ever advertised. It's always been word of mouth, and I'm happy with that.
You'll be frowned upon if you're not a patron, though, right? You look down on this?
No, absolutely not.
No.
We love everyone.
You're a lesser member of society.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Well, no.
Just slightly.
Now, I did want to mention last week's Utini Rage was by our friends Shari, and this week's we're going to get one of you gentlemen to do it. It'll be a surprise. In fact, I'll get you to record it after we're done, so it'll be a surprise for the people who listen to it later.
I vote Mosk. He has a better mic this time, and it's his first time, so.
All right.
Break his cherry.
Wow.
All right. Just do it when we get up there. All right, next. We'll skip some of this chill, so just roll through it.
Okay.
Force feedback. Anyway,
All right.
that's the news.
That'll bring us to the forced feedback where we read out your tweets and emails. And chat room, if you have any questions to ask, we'll be gathering them now to answer once we're done with the feedback. Starting off with Chong, who tweeted, I managed to eke out a bronze reward from ranked PvP, and he has it up in his stronghold. Very nice. That's his like all pale gray character. Very cool.
That is Boss Chong.
Yep.
And let's see, Greg tweeted, my years of outfit hoarding are paying off.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, not sure if it's been mentioned, but Cantina rewards do not go into collections. Well, at least the Carbonite regeneration doesn't.
Yeah, these are like special versions of them that are bound and appear to be just per character, so you can't unlock them on your other characters. I got the Carbonite regen as well, actually. That's the second thing I've got that's actually valuable, along with a lot of dye.
A lot of valueless dye for the most part. I understand there's a couple of nice ones, but I've been getting a lot of pale yellows and some pretty nasty colors. And unfortunately, the dyes are bound as well, so you can't sell them to someone who might, have a use for them. If you don't happen to like the one you get. All right, Michael B. wrote in awesome photos, Bill and Chong. I hope you found the droid you were shopping for.
We've got links to those albums. I put them into Google+. I know no one uses Google+, but its photo support is fantastic. It's good for albums. So anyway, you don't have to sign up or anything. They're all linked in last week's show notes.
Yeah. All right. Fridius wrote, great reporting from the Star Wars... whatever
Celebration.
the heck it's called. Celebration. Yeah, I don't know what the A is for. That's what's throwing me off. But I'll just start over. Fridius. Fridius wrote, great reporting from Star Wars Celebration by Bill Lentz and Empire Divider, aka Chong, on OotiniCast 202. Thanks, guys. And Mon Mothma has a picture. Many celebrants queued to bring us this information. So.
Nice.
Ola wrote, I seem to have missed the news about Celebration 2016 being in London. Time to book. Thanks for the heads up, OotiniCast.
No worries. We'll see who else turns up there. Kranatoko, certainly.
Yep, he's already planned on it pretty much. Let's see. JB wrote, I keep stopping to mount like a noob and it frustrates me every time I do it.
Yeah, so if you do have the, we all get auto mount now, or mount while moving. We all get mount while moving now, so it does take a bit of concentration, but you can train yourself to just move and mount.
Keep auto running. That's cool.
Great. Yes.
Very cool.
I just finally bought this the other day. It's nice.
Oh, definitely worth the expense. It's an account-wide unlock, legacy-wide unlock. Why wouldn't you?
Force Chocolate wrote that when Bill was away, the GTN market crashed. So.
When you just steep decline, it was terrible.
There was nothing on the GTN except for like 4 items because everything else is Bill's.
all of his auctions had expired.
All right, SWTOR Addict wrote, I got reminded by OotiniCast podcast to total my playtime a whopping 10,296 hours, or 429 days. I guess I have a problem. Well, you are called SWTOR Addict, so...
That's not a problem. That's just dedication right there. That's taking it seriously.
That's right. And he also wrote, is there a location where all the tips from the podcast get archived for future reference other than audio form?
No, but this has been asked for before, and what I could do, if I'm feeling particularly energetic, is go through all of our Google Docs show notes and pull out all the tips, aggregate them, remove old, outdated ones, that kind of thing, and put them on our website. Right. This could happen. Maybe that'll be the $200 per episode.
That's funny.
Yeah,
well. Juiced wrote in, does an MMO benefit from community members volunteering to help devs with certain tasks? Is there such a thing? And also, along the same lines, add-ons for SWTOR? Thoughts?
Could you help them with any bugs? That'd be great.
As was revealed at the Cantina, I believe Bill told us about this last week, the Star Wars IP, intellectual property, is a really, really big stumbling block here, even if they wanted to. Even if the Hero Engine would allow add-ons. And for all kinds of other reasons, they just can't let people help. They just can't. It just becomes cumbersome.
And because of that, it sounds like, community members volunteering to help devs, it has to be kind of limited to sort of informational input to the devs rather than like actually getting in behind the scenes and doing stuff there. Because they do have to do a lot of hand-in-hand stuff with the folks at LucasArts or now Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy, a.k.a. Quips of the Old Republic Dads Guild on the Shadowlands, wrote, catching up on podcasts and thought your Cantina report was spot on. I wanted to share that I spoke to more filthy casuals than well-informed players. Standing in the long did not pre-register line, the guy on my right bought the collector's edition after loving Star Wars Galaxies but never opened it. On my left, a solo player who has wandered the galaxy since launch but never run an operation, and doesn't see the point of joining a guild. Once inside, I spoke to 2 other players, recently returned to the game from a hiatus, and a dude who had no idea what we were talking about. He was just tagging along with his friend.
Why not?
There you go. That's quite a range already. I suppose the elite min-maxers were probably crowded towards the front, ready with their brilliant questions. But I was content to chillax in the back and share stories of enjoying SWTOR. The atmosphere was great. Chong's suggestion. I also just want everyone to know how much I appreciate your work. OotiniCast is a big reason I wasn't all that stunned by Cantina announcements, aside from confirmed return of 12 XP. But I just felt in the loop rather than disappointed that there wasn't more new reveals. Thanks, and may the Force be with you. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would have been fun to be at. Ferris Terran wrote, soloing Heroic 4 Trial of the First on Voss, skip the trash by using Rocket Boost and skirting the walls.
Does that count as a tip? Maybe I'll give that's our friend Forrest Aaron. Maybe we
Maybe
should give
that's
him
a tip.
I'll
That is
give
kind
him
of a tip.
pack.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Brian.
It's added to the beginning of the show. We did have one tip that was sent
We
in
did
late
one
on the
hit.
show.
It's fine.
Yeah. Chong wrote, "What's wrong with the first picture? Picture 2 is the clue." Let's see. Bella, Jedi Consular, Radahasi. I can't see the other one well enough right now. Let's see.
Picture 2 is the clue. Where he's highlighting Rad Hadassi, showing no advanced class.
Oh, no advanced
Oh,
class.
yeah.
Wow.
Yep. One of those.
Ah, yes. And no surprise at the bottom of the list when you look at the big one.
Just because you can. Yep. These actually show up in the data for ranked PvP. There's usually a couple. I actually have to update my processing to make sure I remove them because they'll screw it up otherwise. Yep.
Oof. All right. Chong wrote, "Every time I hit reset appearance, my cybernetics changes randomly. Is that a bug?"
Well, it could be just a feature where
Sounds like an
this is when
upgrade.
he's using his appearance designer, and when he resets to what he was, he gets a different cybernetic every time. So that's great. It's like
yeah, it sounds like a
doesn't
bug.
sound right. Yeah, definitely.
Right. It's forgetting which one he actually had, right? That's the idea.
Yep.
Okay, and or it's accidentally imposing a random one of the two.
Exactly.
Yeah, hopefully it's not forgetting it because that might accidentally give you extra cost that you weren't expecting in terms of cartel
Unless it
cost.
doesn't charge you, which would be even better.
Which would be an improvement, yes.
So you just keep doing it randomly until you got the one you wanted, and it's free. If it actually changes it, which it probably doesn't.
And then it says can't change, actually. So yeah, so I guess if you're on the wrong one, it won't let you change it.
Right.
Interesting. All right. Jebadagi of Prophecy of the Fire.
He found another bug too.
Okay. Jebadagi. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Chong found another bug as well. This one, he was also using the appearance designer, and he couldn't change his hair color. I'll include the pictures just so you can see the bug, but yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's grayed. Yeah. It's
There's a
grayed
few
out or
glitches.
something?
Yeah.
Well, what's he not changing there? He can't change his hair color.
Yeah, he selected a new hair color and it won't.
It won't let him.
change.
It's just grayed out. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder. It looks like he was trying to choose one of the new hair colors towards the right side with the purple bar. Maybe the game didn't think he had it unlocked for some reason.
He should have let him. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Javadagi of Prophecy of the Five wrote, "Greetings, gang. I'd like y'all to open up a serious conversation about an app game for SWTOR that ties into the game. Long ago in a galaxy far, far away, I used to play Pirates of the Caribbean online, and I had a great little mobile game that gave me my fix on the road, but also gave me credits and special goodies for the online game. I think that would be a great boost for SWTOR. The more the topic is covered, the more BioWare might take a good look at it. It could even end up on the Wall of Crazy for them." That's clever, because of course we've talked a lot about like apps that tie into the game where you do crew missions and stuff like that, but this would be kind of different. It would be its own completely different game, but maybe it awards credits that you could then get in mail in-game or something like that.
Yep.
That seems potentially doable.
Any ideas for a potential minigame, though? Maybe this is, I could use the app to deliver us Pazak.
This is how you get the pod racing and the Pazak and all the stuff that we would love to have in the game, but you could actually do Pazak or Sabak or pod racing or swoop racing or any of the other ones we've covered as stuff we would love to have in the game.
You would hope that adding that kind of stuff in-game would actually be easier, but maybe building a mobile app is actually less effort. Don't know.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that more effort isn't put into the mobile apps, considering how every game, every company, just financially, should be putting their efforts towards mobile.
Because
access.
we all have them now. Yes.
It is a
Exactly.
gold mine to where anybody who's not doing that is just living in the past. Now, if they can't, if you don't have something that works for it, fine, I guess.
Right.
But we do. I mean, this game can somehow. I mean,
They could even outsource it, give it to a different company to develop, and
That's what I was
nothing
thinking.
else brings
I
some
mean, we are in
visibility
the,
to SWTOR.
they are in the past. It is the Old Republic, so maybe they didn't have apps back then.
There you go.
yeah, but we're living in the world. There's money on the table that they should just take from us. We'll pay them. Just do it.
Right. And there isn't a technical reason they couldn't put Pazak or Sabak or one of the other card games or something like that inside SWTOR, but they have said that because of the client lag, they just can't do the racing games because it what you see is not necessarily what you get in terms of first, second, and third.
And they believe that time runs would be boring, which I disagree with.
But you could probably get around that on an app.
Yeah.
Sure, but you wouldn't be able to play against other people.
Maybe not.
If you want to add multiplayer, yeah.
All you have to do is just do something that ties in with the game just a little bit. You log in, and it just shows you on your character that you played this game. It doesn't even change your stats. It doesn't even give you credits. It just says, hey, you played 400 times this week. Great. I'm excited about that. I mean, I would do it. I would play.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to do something at work besides work. And so, why not?
All right. So let's see. From last week's Working Out Your Star Wars Name, Force Chuckle wrote Bogan, Wookiee Scavenger. Very nice. That actually sounds pretty good.
Bogan.
It's amazing how many actual Star Warsy names you get out of this.
Just out of interest, is Bogan a term used outside Australia? Does it mean anything to you guys?
I've heard it being used on the podcasts. It's like you're redneck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's
But
sort
it's
of
an
the
Aussie
equivalent of
thing.
redneck. Yeah. Okay. No, we don't use it, but I doubt a lot of Americans know about it. I only know about it
I
because
didn't recognize it.
Yeah, sorry for Australia.
yeah,
If
I've
you were
heard
here
of
in
it.
Australia, it wouldn't actually be the best name.
I've heard it on Bind and Equip and a few other places. So, all right. Hansel wrote, and I am Oroel, the Wookiee bounty hunter. Very nice.
Very
Same birth month, I guess, or something like that, since they're both Wookiees. Dasden wrote, let's see, hello, Ootini. I'm a beer salesman by trade. Very nice. So I have a galactic ton of drive time. While driving, I skip around through different podcasts, catching up on SWTOR and other news. There's a lot of speculation floating around right now about the wristbands that were given out during the cantina saying, The Fallen Empire, June 15th, 2015. I was contemplating what this could be alluding to and came up with a few possibilities. One, from the hidden image that was distributed by BioWare, we see a throne overlooking a very unique planet somewhere in space above that planet. Rode from OotiniCast podcast was speculating that perhaps this is the third of the three mentioned Rakatan stations like the Foundry. We are told about them by Malgus in the Foundry Flashpoint, and the first one would be from KOTOR. It was mentioned to have the ability to terraform planets, while the Foundry could create massive numbers of droids, and the one from KOTOR could create starships at an unbelievable rate. And this could explain the massive buildings on the strange planet in the photo. Interestingly enough, it also opens the possibility of Malgus returning. That would be cool.
Well,
That would make sense. Those are some big looking city planets, or cityscapes.
yeah,
on
a
that planet.
xenoformer, I don't see how that would actually create buildings. It's like terraforming. We're actually changing like the atmosphere and things like that. But, and what's it got to do with Malgus?
Don't know. Just the fact that I guess that it ties in to the Foundry Flashpoint in some way.
Guess.
In other words, not a. It doesn't provide the logical reason; it provides the thematic reason for him to return, not the logic behind it.
Right.
Two, a crazy theory I've been pondering is that perhaps the speculation of SWTOR 2 actually being true, and it'd be called Star Wars The Fallen Empire. As I'm sure most of us are aware, the Emperor is going to be the main antagonist in the upcoming patch, Zayast, and probably the next op. Could it be that after the Emperor's true death, the Empire is in shambles, and SWTOR 2 is the story of their return to power after a few hundred years of infighting and strife?
Wouldn't that be cool? Now, as far as SWTOR 2 goes, I have been wondering, just where is the, that other game that they were working on, that they closed down, Shadow Realms?
Hmm.
All those people were redeployed onto apparently Star Wars: The Old Republic, so
Right.
we haven't actually seen any massive increase in volume of stuff. So they're doing something. So could they
Yeah.
be working on SWTOR 2? Actually, most likely not. But
But it's a cool idea.
yeah,
Probably delivering coffee or something.
Right. So we know though that EA BioWare has the Star Wars rights to develop PC games. So through Disney
Yes.
for Star Wars. So
Yes.
that they have the IP available if they wanted to do another MMO.
yes,
That'd be cool. And I can guarantee it'll be free to play from day one.
a safe bet. Yes.
Yeah, I remember thinking early on that Star Wars would be the last one to try for subscription. When they were basically forced to go free to play relatively quickly. Then WildStar went for it anyway. So
Yeah, it
I
did
was
not
wrong.
go well.
Yeah, but
And
yeah,
the
but
Elder Scrolls Online is also now free to play. So
yeah. So there you go. But yeah, they keep trying. They keep trying the subscription thing, but free to play seems to be the way it is now. All right. Let's see. And back to Dazdan though. On ToroCast, it was mentioned the last time there were any big SWTOR announcements. I'm stumbling over this. Let me try it again. On ToroCast, it was mentioned that the last time there were any big SWTOR announcements at E3 was when we were told about Game Update 2.0. The date, June 15th, is one day before E3 and is when EA announces upcoming games. I feel like they wouldn't use that date to talk about just another expansion. Thus, it would have to be something big. We've heard Musco and others talk about how this will be SWTOR's year, and wouldn't that bring back the buzz of pre-launch SWTOR when it was pretty much all you heard about? This, of course, is all speculation and opinion of a fan of the game. I could be completely off, but it is fun to think about. What are your thoughts about all this?
it is fun to think about, and
It is.
I would love to believe that. Absolutely love it. We talked last week about SWTOR Miner's theory about the Fallen Empire 15 June, day before E3. EA is going to announce something. I suspect it is just another expansion, but it'd be so good if it was SWTOR 2 on the Frostbite engine.
Right. Or, yeah, exactly. Do we know... How frustrated are the developers about the Hero engine? I mean, I know that there seem to be a lot of stumbling blocks over it, and there's no way to change SWTOR. I mean, would they be excited to work on a SWTOR 2 simply because it would be on a newer engine? That would be easier to work with or whatever, or offer more flexibility in the
I'm
long
sure
run?
they'd love it. The problem is your vast amount of legacy stuff that you would have to move across. So you could start from scratch, but
Right.
why would you? As far as how they feel about it, even if we did know, we couldn't say. So,
Right.
yeah, there's no way to tell. I mean, just from a dev's point of view, you would think a much, much more powerful, better engine, absolutely, would be great. But being realistic as a software developer, it's just, there's so much. Imagine all of the existing worlds, all that story. Would you really throw that away?
Yeah. So is it possible they could do like a SWTOR 2 that starts but ties in somehow? Where certain legacy stuff comes over, or characters
Absolutely.
or items or something? So they could do that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to think about.
I mean, something else is, I mean, at least in theory, it could be possible to port it all over to Frostbite if you had an infinite number of man hours.
I mean, do you think that might be a possibility what the other group could be doing?
Yes.
But is it really that? I mean, I don't know that they do that. I don't know if I would do that financially, if that makes any sense, though. What's the true benefit? What are they hoping to get from that they think, are they going to get so many more subscribers or something like that just from taking all that time and all that effort for that, rather than using what they have now? Even though we might have frustrations with this engine, is that enough to justify it?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, now, Sarlacc Digest, by the way, we're not going to do it. Kusei, I'd like to invite you back next week when you have your when you're at home with your proper mic, and we'll do it properly then.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Anything else on Dazdane's post? Okay.
Maybe we
I'm
can
looking forward to
ask.
June 15th.
Yeah, maybe we
Yeah.
can ask this show for people to send in their wall of crazy ideas. Don't go crazy, just one or two, and then after the Sarlacc Digest next week, we can add that into it.
Okay. That's a great
Right,
idea.
so-
Sure.
Right, and so in other words, let's ask folks to send in ideas. If you were a dev, what would be on your wall of crazy?
Yes.
What do you
Awesome.
think they're announcing on 15 June?
That too. If one of you guys want to announce it, it's probably be better on your mic than mine.
All right.
I think I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll
It sounded
do.
like a question, or I don't know if that was just a good question.
All right. All right. I will attempt to clean it up in post, or I'll just delete it.
Okay.
Either way, it'll be fine.
All right. Let's see. So I guess that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is from Mevio's Music Alley. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you to Kuze and Mosk.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, guys, keep recording. Just keep on going.
So pause
Pause?
it right now. Okay.
No.
Yes. Pause.
Unpause it.
I would like you to...
unpause. Oh,
Mosk?
unpause. Shoot.
Now unpause, now pause.
Can we get an Utini Rage from you, please?
Now?
Yeah?
Well, like
Do you want to do it when the nice people have gone away?
all the nice.
You can put an accent on it. That'd be nice. What accents can you do?
I have no idea.
Oh,
don't know.
come on. No.
It's like a Utini Rage, something like that,
That'll do.
or
Done. You can do another attempt.
I don't know. Like a Utini Rage.
All right? I'll pick the
I like
best
that.
one. Yeah,
Sick.
that's actually pretty good.
Big Russian, I like it.
All right, guys.
I don't know where. Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. We didn't get to Kuze's a few things that BioWare should be looking at implementing for player retention and grabbing new ones. But we will have him back next week with his proper setup at home. He will sound a lot better. All right. Yep, I guess we'll call that good. Should be back next week. Expect an Utini War Room Deployment 5 sometime. Turg has done his final edit. I'll do a final pass and we'll get that out probably after this show. Not too
Love it.
long, Turg, after this show. All right, guys. Have a good week. Talk to you later.